Nidus is a Warframe that exists in a limbo, per se. He is either loved or hated, and I don't think there's an in-between. Not that I've seen. And there is something to say about Nidus hate, whether it's that it's unvalid or completely valid and fair. It depends solely on who you ask, I'd say. Because there are so many players that are biased towards Nidus. And so in this video, I'm going to be talking about what players like about him. It's incredibly simple because he is actually a good frame. He is a frame that has high survivability and is incredibly fun to use. One thing people like about him the most is that he's practically unkillable. So let's say you die, just out of nowhere. Let's say you walk forward and boom, you die. No one knows why. You don't know why. Why would you die? You lose 15 stacks, but you become immortal for 5 seconds. So long as you're not using the abundant mutation augment mod for his passive, you can do this infinitely, like that, over and over again. Every time you die, 15 stacks, and it doesn't have a single cooldown. Now, this is known as mutation gating. Because he doesn't have shields, this is his best form of survivability, because invincibility. In 15 stacks, you gain stacks like crazy, because you only need to spend stacks with his 4th ability and with his passive. So gaining stacks should be no problem. And so with this form of survivability, it's no wonder that he's practically unkillable, because he pretty much is. You have almost no chance of dying so long as you are a half-decent Nidus. Just maintain stacks. Now, he has excellent crowd control. His second ability is one that gathers all enemies within a certain amount of range into one little bubble area. This is the best way to gain stacks. It allows you to cast Virulence to gain stacks via that, and then naturally you can pull them into your Ravenous area as well, which allows the maggots to target them, let you gain more stacks just like that. Now, he does have quite a fair amount of ability damage. So long as you have a decent amount of stacks, good ability strength, you can deal a good amount of ability damage that will let you go into Steel Path. It does fall off. It's not better than other frames, and it can't compare to them either. But I don't think it's supposed to. I do not think it's supposed to. I don't think he's a nuke like that. But it is satisfying to watch all these enemies being eaten alive by maggots, or to cast Larva, gather them up, cast Virulence, deal a nice amount of damage that way, or just cast Ravenous and have them all explode a few times. I think all that is very satisfying to watch, and it does deal a good amount of damage. The higher your mutation stacks, the more damage that will deal. Next is simply that he is extraordinarily energy efficient. Now, his first ability gains you 25% of energy back that you spent on the ability. Let's say you have no more efficiency, 100 efficiency. When you cast the 40 energy, you will gain back 10 energy per enemy hit. For enemies, you gain back all the energy you spent. If you hit 20 enemies, you gain back 200 energy. It is beautiful. He is extremely energy efficient. His third ability no longer requires a mutation stack, which I do think is a bit sad, because while it did cost 1, which I guess some people probably didn't like, now it costs energy instead, which is still just fine. You gain the energy back with Virulence. But now you have 3 abilities that cost energy, and that's a bit more to upkeep. Again, not a big problem. Next is that he has extremely strong support potential. With Ravenous and Parasitic Link alike, he can be an extraordinary support. Ravenous has 75 health healed per second, which can be increased with ability strength. Parasitic Link, when you attach it to an ally, I don't have one with me, but they gain ability strength and weapon damage so long as they're within the meter radius, and it is multiplicative, meaning their ability strength will go through the roof along with their weapon damage. If you have on the augment mod for it, their health will go through the roof, and you'll just be one of the best supports in the entire game because it is multiplicative and it does scale with ability strength. So you can give your allies insane amounts of ability strength. I've seen a Nidus give somebody easily over 800% ability strength. You could also just use it to boost Roar if you have a Roar Nidus build. So yeah, essentially in the end, basically, quick rundown, he has infinite scaling, near immortality, amazing enemy grouping, efficient energy economy, and he is a fantastic support as well. I would also like to argue that he has a fun, rewarding gameplay. He's not boring. You can play him with ease, be immortal forever. You can essentially never die so long as you maintain your mutation stacks, and getting those stacks up isn't hard at all. I'd also like to say that it is kind of fun to do. Continuous grouping of enemies and watching them be eaten alive, it's just fun to watch. And with that being said, that's just about it. Let me know whether you love or hate Nidus, and if there's something you love about him that I simply haven't mentioned. And since he had a retouch recently, I'd also love to know what you thought about his retouch. It's not to the level of a rework, but I do believe it made him more modern and more easily approachable for newer players to get into him. It made him a lot better, in my opinion, especially with some of the touches they made to Larva and Ravenous. And I think the increase of max mutation stacks from 100 to 200 is amazing, because now you probably won't be using abundant mutation pretty much ever now. Now the risks of having the duration restriction on Undying outweighs the amount of damage you can gain from having 500 mutation stacks. At least in my opinion, and from what I've seen of those that have mentioned it thus far. But with that being said, that is just about it. Until next time.